Today we're going to be talking about a few reasons why someone might want to get into raising rabbits, as well as my thoughts on these KW Cages 4000 series stackers. Obviously, this is a turn from what a lot of my content has been, and it's not going to be a major change, so rest assured if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, this isn't normally what he posts, don't worry about that. This is just something a little bit different, and there might be some of this in the future as well. But as someone who just recently got into raising rabbits, I thought it would be a good topic of conversation for someone else out there who maybe is looking at it thinking it might be something feasible for them to do, as well as I really did want to give my opinion on these cages here. So, what are the main reasons someone's going to want to get into rabbits? Mine obviously were for meat production. When you get a meat rabbit like these guys here, these happen to be American chinchilla, but really any of your meat rabbit breeds, you have a very high feed to meat conversion ratio, actually the best of any livestock animal. So when I did out all of my math, not counting in all of the startup costs, the rabbits in the cages, and any of the other breeding equipment, which is minimal, but I'll show that as well. It comes to anywhere between $1 to $2 a pound at the best case scenario. Obviously, it's not going to necessarily match that, but that still gives you an idea, and it still shows that you can, in fact, raise meat rabbits for much less than you could something like chicken, for example, and much less, and with much smaller of a footprint than beef, pork, or lamb. Another reason you might want to get into it is because you just like rabbits, and maybe you want to breed something for people to have as pets. There is money in it, but it's not my reasoning. As much as I do love these guys, they're very friendly, quite nice animals to keep. They blew my expectations away of what having a rabbit would be like. At the end of the day, this is a homestead that we've set up here, and as a hunter, you gotta know meat comes from death. So, on to my setup for them and these KW cages. Now you can order these in a lot of configurations, and as someone who was just kind of getting into it, all the information that I gathered up, and there's a lot of great resources for raising rabbits out there. For these meat rabbits, something in like these with adult weight range of 9 to 12 pounds, I wanted a 30 by 30 cage. That's pretty typical. It's on the larger end of what KW Cage offers. They also offer some 36 by 30s if you want something a little bit bigger, but these seemed like they would do me well, as well as the fact that 30 by 30 trays are very easy to come by if I ever need replacement trays for them. Obviously, I also got my Siftomatic feeders from KW Cage as well, and you can't really see them from there, I don't think, but the hay racks on the side of them I got as well. I did adapt them for use with a locking crock setup right here on the sides, and those were just a cheap crock that I picked up from Tractor Supply, so I don't necessarily have the cost for them. I think they were like $10 a piece. I can't even remember. Lickit brand, I believe they were. I'm not sure if that's a Tractor Supply brand or if it's just a cheap brand. But I do have the breakdown for how I optioned these cages, and I did option them fairly reasonably and basic. They do have polymer trays available. They have different grade meshes for the floor as well. But I just stuck right to the standard. So it's a 30 by 30 by 18 cage. Now the cages by themselves, before you option anything in them, and even though the options are necessary, they do cost more. It was $145 a cage. Now they are stacker series, so you can actually interlock the feet down here with the feet on the top of them. I'll get you some up close shots of that here in a second. I just chose to keep them sitting like this because I thought they'd get a little more light, and since I started off with just a pair instead of a trio, I don't really care about losing a little extra space here in the barn.
The flooring I went with was the standard flooring. This is the only thing that did not cost extra, and that was 1/2 inch by 1 galvanized flooring. You don't really want to go much softer than that because you can end up with sore hocks, but I didn't feel like going anything overboard. They're bigger rabbits, so I do want a bigger grate so they can, you know, the poop will fall through and it won't necessarily catch in the cages. Although they like to pull so much hay out that poop kind of gets caught on top of the hay anyway, so you do have to keep on top of getting the hay out of there so it can fall through. Let's see, I've got the feeders. These are 40 ounce. Sorry, I'm cheating, I'm looking at my invoice here. 5.5 inch feeders. Now they are sift feeders, so they have a grate down here in the bottom so that all your fines fall through, so just pellets are going into the rabbit. You do have to cut a small hole in the cage where it actually clicks through. Again, I'll show you that in a second. Those were just shy of $7, $6.95 a feeder. The hay racks, which you can't really see, but you don't have to clip anything. They just clip right onto the side and they pull the hay through the grates. Those cost $7.25 a piece. I did also buy a nesting box. Obviously, if you're gonna be breeding them, you need nesting boxes. And I want a nice galvanized one. You can make your own from wood, which are fairly cheap and do the job as well. But I figured I was already ordering from them, so I might as well get the KW Cage nesting box. It has a removable bottom so that during the summer you can let them nest right on the grates, or during the winter to keep the babies insulated, you can put the removable bottom in there to keep anything from, or cold from, getting at the rabbit babies. But it will end up making it so that you have more fecal matter build up inside of the nest. And that cost $31.86. So that was probably the single most expensive accessory. I only bought one. I might buy more if I end up expanding off my Duo here, which I believe I will. This is really just a starting point. And to make things easy, I also bought a pair of cage clip pliers for $23.95, just because it's kind of a pain. These do need to be assembled, mind you, unless you pick them up at their location in California, which is a long way from us. So I got them shipped here and assembled them. The assembly is fairly simple. Read the instructions carefully because I did screw up on her cage, on the does, and ended up bulging the wire in the front a little bit because I put in the wrong splash guards, these here, to keep them from peeing right through the side of the cages. But let me grab you and I'll show you these guys up close and why I'm pretty impressed with them. All right, so now we're down here at our Buck's cage, just to kind of show you more of these features up close so you can get an idea of what they look like. Hey, buddy. So this is the feeder. As you can see, they have these little clips that clip right on to the grate, and I cut it down here so it sticks out so he can eat right out of the tray. Hey, buddy. Hay rack, same thing, except no cutting. It's got little clips right here that clip right around to the wire, and then on the bottom it slides into the wire with a groove to hold it in place so it doesn't get kicked away. Dump out all your hay. And we've got a pretty standard cage opening here. They do have these nice plastic guards so that it's not, the sharp metal and wire isn't exposed. The rabbit doesn't get hurt. You don't cut yourself. Hey, bud. And he's just a very friendly boy. And then what I did here for these, the crocks, they're a locking crock. So they have a, I just filled this with water, but you can see there's a groove on the bottom. That, oh boy, I'm not gonna be able to do that one-handed. Here, buddy. I'm gonna move that out. I'm not gonna be able to do that one-handed. That lock into this little thing here, and I actually did have to drill a hole through the metal to lock the base in place. So, but rabbits have a tendency to grab and flip things, so this kind of makes it so they can't flip their cup. The bigger cages, like this 30 by 30, do come with this center support. Obviously a smaller cage doesn't need it, but with a larger cage and larger rabbits you do. And these guys here are just about full grown. Gives you an idea of what they have for space in these cages. I do take them out from time to time. I do feel bad. It's a smaller cage, but for our purposes, it does what you need it to. And this guy here is about, I think he's 20 weeks old now. So just getting close. He's getting close to being ready to start breeding for us. But then you do have your slide out racks here. Now you can option for a polymer tray. I did not. I just went with the standard galvanized steel ones. I mean, if I really want it, I could get a polymer tray, but it just didn't seem worth it to me, so I stuck with the galvanized ones. We'll see if I regret that. Supposed to get some corrosion on them, but these have been pretty clean so far. Alright, excuse the darkness. We're just over at my table here in the corner of the shed. I did want to show you the nesting box here. I forgot the dimensions. I will post the dimensions on screen right here. But it's nice galvanized. It does have that removable bottom in here, so it just has a lip. Pull up on the lip. I'm going to pinch my fingers trying to do it, but you can see it does come out. And these were the cage clips that I picked, or clippers that I picked up from them. They worked very well. Obviously, they never go bad, so once you have them, you have them. Well, unfortunately, my battery died right about there, but that is it. So if you guys like my content or like this video, like and subscribe, and I will be back next time.